Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, apartment manager doesn't take cash for 2 cents bill. Malicious compliance ensues. The loser army. Go outside and do stuff? Sure. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Apartment manager doesn't take cash for 2 cents bill. Malicious compliance ensues. In 2019, I moved from an apartment complex in Celebration, Florida, to a condo. As usual, when you move out of an apartment, you get a final bill, which includes your last month's prorated rent, deductions for damages, security deposit refunds, and the like. We paid it. The next month, I get a call from my wife who says we've got a follow-up bill in the mail from the apartment management company for 2 cents. We're both in the tech field, so we laughed that this company's IT department didn't catch the edge case of spending 50 cents in postage to collect 2 cents in revenue. But it happens. My wife prints out a copy of the bill. I grab 2 cents from the change jar. The apartment complex is on my daily drive, so I swing by the office. I walk in and tell the manager that I want to pay my last bill. I say it's 2 cents. Here's the bill, and I have the 2 cents if you want it. The manager says we don't take cash. Nothing else. There was an awkward pause. I say I don't expect you to take cash. I expect us both to have a laugh about how silly computer systems are, and for you to write off the 2 cents, because it'd cost you more to process the payment. She says I'm not going to do that. Again, awkward pause. I say, so you want me to write you a check for 2 cents? And mail it? And you're going to process that check? The manager says yes, send us a check and we'll process it, and then walks back into her office to end the conversation. So I go home and set up an automatic, monthly bank payment to my apartment complex. For 3 cents. And then, because I'm a programmer, I write some code to send a letter once per month, saying I'm so sorry, I've overpaid my bill. Please send me a check for the overpayment. And I use an online service that sends postcards in ridiculous sizes up to around 18 inches by 24 inches, figuring that'll be my escalation strategy. The first of the next month, I get a call from the apartment company's regional manager. After introducing himself, the next 2 minutes were the most sincere, "Oh God, we made a mistake, please don't do this, we'll never contact you again" apology anyone could have hoped for. I stopped the mail and never heard from them again. Did I spend several hours on MC for 2 cents? Yes. Was it worth it? Absolutely. ATT sent me a 3 cents bill. I sent them a check for 7 cents and began hounding them for my refund. If I didn't already have a twin, I'd bet we were separated at birth. ATT sent me a $0.005 bill. Half a cent seems that after a month or 3 of trying to get them to close an account for a landline to a location they didn't have any service to, they ended up with that left. After arguing on the phone again, they eventually issued a 1 cent credit. And their assistant mailed me a $0.005 check. I did not try to cash that. I can only imagine the mess. Decades ago, my husband went into collections over 11 cents. He had no idea how it happened. He just received a letter out of the blue and called the phone number. Obviously, at some point, he called the entire action ludicrous and was told, "Sir, 11 cents is a lot of money." What's funny is the collections agency bought that 11 cents debt for like 1 cent or 2 cents. A long time ago, I bought something at Sears using my Discover card, which Sears owned at the time. I wasn't happy with my purchase and returned it the next day, but my bill had cycled with a $0 balance, so of course I ignored it. The next month I got another bill for $0 and had a nasty note about being late and paying right away. I assumed that there was some sort of rounding error, i.e. the interest was less than 1 cent, so the bill rounded down to 0 but was non-zero, internally causing the nasty language. I called them and they said nothing they can do because the bill is 0. Next month I get another bill for $0 and it had some threat about my account going into default and maybe closing the card unless I paid $0 immediately. So I wrote out a check for $0 and mailed it in with the stub. Maybe 10 days later I got an apology note and they returned my $0 check. My former bank got caught up in a scandal where it turned out they had charged interest on fees. They did internal revision and ended up finding out how much each customer was due. I then got a letter that cost about $1 to send. Postage is extremely expensive here, that I would get a 3-cent payout. It was automatically deposited in my account 2 days later. This is more understandable as they were probably following a court order. Don't want to get in further trouble over 3 cents. My sister and brother-in-law moved to another state. For 5 years my brother-in-law got a monthly bill from the tollway here for 5 cents. Once when we were visiting them in their new state, my brother-in-law gave me his latest bill and asked me to go by their office when I got home and pay it in person. When I went to pay, all I had was a dime and they couldn't give me change. After that, my brother-in-law got a monthly statement with a 5-cent credit. After a year of that, they sent him a check for 5 cents. That is awesome. Be proud. Not really, MC, but I got a child support check for 32 cents once. Seriously? Framed it instead of cashing it. Got all sorts of escalating notices that I needed to cash it or it would be invalid after 60 days. Did I cash it to have that 32 cents to support my child? Shockingly, I did not. The Loser Army. I work for a university. Recently we were told we have new performance evaluation criteria, but we can't be told what they are because they are private. However, they seem to involve everyone except administrators publishing an unspecified number of academic papers in what are called premier journals. Many premier journals are trash with a 50% acceptance rate. Admin isn't trying to improve quality here. This F***CKs over a lot of teaching faculty, some of whom do not have PhDs and have contracts, being disregarded by the admin that do not involve research. These faculty also have many sections of classes with double the number of students they were hired initially to teach. This was enacted to purge teaching faculty by making them feel they are to blame for being fired, even though their only job is teaching. It also purges faculty that take a lot of time to do high-quality, serious work. I am in the research faculty, so I have formed a loser army of disgruntled people to co-author and proliferate meaningless papers for the shittiest premier journals. Accordingly, those meant to be purged are now meeting the criteria with flying colors, outperforming people who intended to survive by currying favor with the admin. This is why I dislike academics in some way. There seems to be a heavy focus on the need to publish, but 10 papers of worthless work cannot be compared to 1 paper containing something truly interesting or innovative. This is another objective of the loser army, to make a mockery out of the new requirements. You want a bunch of Scopus Q1 pubs? Here you go. Loser army takes one of my worthless dead papers I don't want to look at again, add on 5 faculty members being set up for purge, fix it up to the standards of the shittiest possible relevant Q1 journal, and everyone gets a hit. X10. Loser Army is an elite group of the most prolific researchers ever. You should do a meta-study on the worthless papers and publish it in the Journal of Irreproducible Results. They love that stuff. You're getting so angry on behalf of all these people while recognizing their worth and doing something about it. You're a good person, and I wish there were more people out there willing to help out others like you are doing right now. We have new performance evaluation, but we can't be told what they are because they are private. What a joke. You're being fired because you didn't meet criteria you didn't even know about. Could you all write papers about how to streamline the administration out of universities? Would beneficial? Go outside and do stuff? Sure. So this happened some 15 years ago, probably around 2003 to 2004. Me and my two best friends from grade school were big computer nerds and played a lot of Warcraft 3 custom maps on LAN. One of them, and his family was somewhat well off and had a big house, so whenever we had the time, like weekends and school holidays and such, we would all set up our PCs in his room and game along. One summer C's parents thought that it was about time we got out and enjoyed the good weather. They came into his room and announced that we should be going outside to enjoy the weather instead of sitting inside all the time. They were gonna go grocery shopping, and when they came back they expected to find us outside doing whatever we wanted, as long as we were outside. QMC. As soon as they left we started raiding the house for extension cords and spare tables. We even managed to find a foldable pavilion to get rid of screen glares. When his parents came home they found us in the front yard playing computer games. They let us move it back inside a couple of hours later and never bothered to try and send us outside again. Yes, parents are always, go out and get fresh air, and then it is, why are the police bringing you home, why do you smell of a house fire? Some 15 years ago, probably around 2003 to 2004. This hurt. Then I shouldn't point out that it was actually 20 years ago, I guess. We moved into a new neighborhood when our kids were in high school, not optimal, for sure. However, my son quickly made a bunch of friends, and soon announced, we're having a LAN party, Dad, can you help me set up tables for 32 players in the garage? Well, we had capacity for maybe 16, tops, and I suggested that the party be split between our garage and that of another kid 6 or 7 houses away. How are we going to connect the LANs, was my son's next question. Dad, can you go buy 500 foot of coax cable? A definite no from me. Build antennas to connect the houses was my suggestion. So my son and his nearby friend spent a day at the workbench, soldering irons, Pringles cans, coax connectors, and all. How do we get these pointed at each other? Well, get your camera tripods, binoculars, a ladder, and get up on the roof. Successful LAN party, kids encouraged and guided through accomplishing a goal at a reasonable cost using their own skills and initiative. During the summer I made the kids go outside for a minimum of an hour. Ages 12, 10, 7, I didn't care if they brought their games outside as long as they got plenty of fresh air. They fussed a ton and thought they'd teach me a lesson by just bringing their Nintendos outside. They ended up getting bored playing their games and eventually explored the woods and barn behind the house. They loved playing in the barn. After that they spent less and less time inside. Guess I learned a lesson from them. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.